Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when the number on your birthday cake stops being just a number and starts becoming a reality you can feel in your bones, your mind, and your daily life. Turning 80 is not the end of the road. Far from it. It is a powerful chapter, one filled with truth, clarity, and change. But let's be honest, there are certain things that begin to happen whether you like it or not. Today, we're going to talk about 5 of those changes, the ones no one can fully escape, but everyone can learn to understand, accept, and even master. The first thing that happens is your body begins to slow down. You may notice that movements aren't as quick as they used to be. Getting out of bed takes a little longer. Climbing stairs feels like a bigger task. This isn't weakness, it's biology. Muscles lose mass, joints stiffen, and energy levels shift. But here's the truth, slowing down doesn't mean stopping. It means learning to move smarter, to respect your limits, and to keep going in a way that supports your body, not fights it. The second change is your memory and thinking may shift. You might forget names, misplace things, or struggle to recall certain details. It can be frustrating, even a little scary, but this doesn't mean your mind is gone. In fact, while short-term memory may weaken, wisdom becomes stronger. You may not remember what happened yesterday, but you understand life better than ever before, and that kind of clarity is priceless. The third thing that happens is your social circle becomes smaller. At 80, you've lived through decades of change. Friends move away, relationships fade, and sadly, some loved ones are no longer here. This can feel lonely, even heavy on the heart. But it also creates space for deeper connections, meaningful conversations, and appreciation for the people who remain. Quality begins to matter far more than quantity. The fourth change is your priorities shift dramatically. Things that once seemed urgent no longer matter. You stop chasing approval. You stop worrying about what others think. You begin to focus on peace, comfort, and the simple joys of life. A warm cup of tea, a quiet morning, a genuine smile. At 80, you realize that happiness was never in the rush. It was always in the moments you almost overlooked. And finally, the fifth thing is you become more aware of time, not in a fearful way, but in a deeply honest way. You understand that time is limited, and that awareness changes everything. It makes you more grateful, more present, and more intentional. You start to value each day not as something to get through, but as something to truly experience. Now here's the most important part. Yes, these 5 things happen whether you like it or not. But how you respond to them, that's entirely up to you. You can resist change, or you can adapt. You can focus on loss, or you can celebrate what remains. You can slow down in fear or slow down with purpose, because turning 80 isn't about losing life. It's about seeing life more clearly than ever before. It's about trading speed for wisdom, noise for peace, and pressure for freedom. So if you are approaching 80 or already there, remember this. You are not defined by what you've lost. You are defined by everything you've lived, everything you've learned, and everything you still have to give. And that is something no age can ever take away. If you want, I can also add emotional storytelling hooks, make it longer, 15-20 min version, or convert it into a viral YouTube script with pauses and engagement cues embracing the natural changes of aging. Begins with a shift in perspective, a quiet but powerful decision to stop resisting time and instead walk alongside it with awareness and grace. As the years pass, the body evolves in ways that can feel unfamiliar, sometimes uncomfortable, and often unavoidable. Muscles may lose their strength, movements may slow, and energy may no longer flow as effortlessly as it once did. These changes are not signs of failure, but evidence of a life that has been lived, a body that has carried experiences, challenges, and memories through decades. Accepting this reality does not mean giving up. It means understanding that the rules have changed and learning how to live fully within them. There is a certain strength that comes from recognizing limits without being defined by them, from choosing to adapt rather than withdraw. The simple act of continuing, even at a different pace, becomes an expression of resilience. Aging also brings subtle shifts in the mind, where memory may no longer be as sharp, and recalling names or recent events can take more effort. While this can be frustrating, it opens the door to a deeper appreciation of a different kind of intelligence, one rooted in wisdom rather than speed. The mind, shaped by years of experience, begins to prioritize what truly matters, filtering out noise and focusing on meaning. There is less urgency to prove, less desire to compete, and more inclination to reflect. This mental transformation can become a source of peace if it is welcomed rather than feared. Instead of measuring mental sharpness by how quickly something is remembered, it becomes more valuable to consider how deeply something is understood. Emotionally, embracing aging involves letting go of expectations that no longer serve a purpose. The need to meet societal standards, to chase validation, or to compare oneself with others gradually loses its hold. In its place grows a sense of freedom that is difficult to achieve in earlier years. This freedom allows individuals to reconnect with their authentic selves, to make choices based on personal comfort and genuine desire rather than obligation. There is a quiet confidence that develops not from external achievements, but from having navigated life's complexities and emerged with a clearer sense of identity. This emotional maturity can transform everyday experiences into moments of contentment, where even the simplest pleasures feel meaningful. Socially, the landscape often changes as well, sometimes shrinking in size but deepening in value. Relationships that remain become more intentional, more honest, and more appreciated. There is less tolerance for superficial connections and a greater desire for authenticity. While the loss of certain relationships can bring sadness, it also highlights the importance of cherishing those who continue to be part of the journey. Conversations become richer, time spent together becomes more precious, and the presence of a few meaningful connections often outweighs the absence of many casual ones. This shift encourages a more mindful approach to companionship, where quality takes precedence over quantity. Physically and emotionally, there is also an invitation to slow down, not as a limitation but as an opportunity. Slowing down creates space to notice details that were once overlooked, to savor moments that once passed too quickly, and to engage with life in a more intentional way. It encourages mindfulness, a deeper connection with the present, and an appreciation for the rhythms of daily life. Rather than rushing through tasks or constantly seeking what comes next, there is value in being fully present in what is happening now. This change in pace can lead to a more fulfilling and grounded experience of life. Ultimately, embracing the natural changes of aging is about acceptance without resignation, adaptation without fear, and growth without pressure. It is a continuous process of redefining what it means to live well, finding strength in vulnerability, and recognizing that every stage of life carries its own form of beauty and significance. Finding purpose and peace after 80 is not about chasing something new as much as it is about rediscovering what has always been within. At this stage of life, the noise of ambition begins to fade, and in its place comes a deeper awareness of what truly matters. The pressure to prove, to compete, or to constantly achieve starts to lose its grip, allowing space for reflection and clarity. Purpose is no longer defined by external success or recognition, but by the quiet satisfaction of living in alignment with one's values. It becomes less about doing more and more about being present, about appreciating the life that has been lived and the moments that continue to unfold each day. There is a unique kind of peace that can only be found after decades of experience, a peace shaped by both joy and hardship. Life at 80 carries lessons that cannot be learned quickly, lessons about resilience, patience, forgiveness, and acceptance. These lessons create a foundation for inner calm, a sense that even when things are uncertain, there is a way to navigate them with grace. The past, once filled with regrets or what-ifs, begins to settle into understanding. Instead of replaying mistakes, there is an opportunity to make peace with them, to see them as part of a larger journey that has shaped who you are. This acceptance brings a sense of lightness, as if the weight of needing to change the past has finally been lifted. Purpose after 80 often reveals itself in the smallest, most meaningful ways. It can be found in sharing wisdom with younger generations, offering guidance not through lectures, but through stories and lived experience. It can be present in acts of kindness, in being there for family and friends, or even in the simple act of listening. These moments may seem small, but they carry a depth of impact that is often overlooked. Knowing that your presence, your words, or your support can make a difference in someone else's life creates a quiet but powerful sense of fulfillment. It is a reminder that purpose does not diminish with age. It simply transforms. At this stage, peace is also closely tied to letting go. Letting go of the need to control every outcome, letting go of expectations that no longer serve, and letting go of the idea that life must look a certain way to be meaningful. This release creates space for acceptance, for embracing each day as it comes rather than resisting it. There is freedom in acknowledging that not everything can be changed, and that sometimes the greatest strength lies in acceptance rather than action. This mindset allows for a more relaxed and content way of living, where moments are experienced fully without the constant urge to alter them. Connection continues to play an important role in finding both purpose and peace. While social circles may become smaller, the bonds that remain often grow stronger and more genuine. There is comfort in familiar faces, in shared memories, and in the understanding that comes from long-standing relationships. At the same time, there is also room for new connections, for conversations that bring fresh perspectives and renewed energy. These interactions, whether old or new, remind you that you are still part of a larger story, still connected to the world around you. Another important aspect is learning to appreciate stillness. In earlier years, stillness may have felt like inactivity or even boredom, but after 80, it can become a source of deep peace. Sitting quietly, observing the world, or simply being with your thoughts can bring a sense of calm that is difficult to find in constant motion. This stillness allows for reflection, for gratitude, and for a deeper connection with oneself. It becomes a space where worries fade and a sense of contentment can grow. Finding purpose and peace after 80 is ultimately about embracing the present with an open heart, recognizing that every moment still holds value, and understanding that life's meaning does not disappear with age but becomes clearer, simpler, and more profound with time.